I'm Sheila Klein, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you why students and professors are protesting.
I'm Claudia Sessa, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you the City of Morgantown's plans to promote pedestrian safety.
Senate Bill 451 was killed after hours of teachers striking. What does this mean for the future of education in West Virginia? I'm Carly Van Iver, and I'll have more coming up next. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now.
Protests are taking place on campus at WVU over a gun bill the West Virginia State Legislature is attempting to pass. I'm Christine Robinson.
And I'm Claudia Sessa. We have the story of the second teacher strike in just over a year in West Virginia and how it has changed the path of education reform.
These stories and more on WVU News, an Emmy Award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students right here at West Virginia University.
Students and administrators at WVU made their voices heard about a bill that would have allowed people to conceal and carry guns on campus, also known as the Campus Carry Bill.
The West Virginia Senate Judiciary Committee recently voted to kill House Bill 2519 after protests have been taking place on campus and people had a lot to say on both sides. Shayla Klein joins us now from Studio B to tell us more about what this means for universities around the Mountain State. Shayla?
Current law leaves concealed carry issues up to university policy. But if this bill is passed, West Virginia colleges and universities would have until July of 2020 to allow those with a concealed handgun license to conceal carry a weapon on campus.
Kill the bill! Not our students!
Emotions are high on both ends of the polarizing campus carry bill, and this protest at West Virginia University is a perfect example of just how passionate each side is.
I think it's a little absurd given that we can already have guns in locked cars on campus. I don't see the need to be able to have guns in a classroom environment. It doesn't make much sense to me.
On one hand, those who oppose the bill believe it would promote violence on campus. On the other hand, those who support the bill believe that it would de-escalate a violent situation.
If somebody enters a classroom that's armed and wishes to do people ill will, I would much rather have that person hurt than somebody else hurt. And so if there's any way that you can reduce that threat, I'm all for it.
10 states across the nation have already passed a similar bill, while 18 states passed a law banning guns on campus. Statistics have shown positive results for states who have passed campus carry laws. For example, at University of Kansas, the number of crimes committed on campus decreased by 13%, and no weapons violations reports were filed in 2017.
I actually have been in a police shootout hostage situation in my lifetime, and it was before I came to WVU, and after I got here, I have a problem with the classrooms mostly at WVU. There's usually one entrance and no exit, no back exit. If someone comes in the front door, that's it. You're fishing a barrel.
Still, many students say that they would feel unsafe if guns were allowed in the classroom.
Books, not guns!
While this bill has been gaining attention, the legislature has proposed similar bills in the past couple of years. Experts predict that if the bill doesn't pass this legislative session, it's likely something we will see again.
Guns would still be banned in large venues, dorm rooms, and anywhere that children are present. But they would be allowed in classrooms and public areas on campus. Now back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Thanks, Shayla. WVU President Gordon Gee has released a statement regarding campus carry. You can read it by visiting the address at the bottom of your screen. The House of Delegates overwhelmingly passed a bill dealing with hazing on college campuses. Senate Bill 440, also known as the Antihazing Bill, was just passed by both the Senate and the House. The issue of frats hazing their new members has been brought to the forefront recently. First, with some frats cutting their official ties with WVU, and second, with the death of WVU freshman Nolan Birch. Birch died in 2014 after he was found unconscious at the Kappa Sigma fraternity house following a pledge event. The student had a blood alcohol level more than 6 times the legal limit. Under this new anti-hazing law, any organization who has student members can be charged if involved with hazing activities. This includes the 5 independent frats at WVU and any others that may cut ties with universities in the future.
While one bill passed with almost no protest, another bill was stopped dead in its tracks.
That's right, Claudia. Senate Bill 451 has been the center of controversy for several weeks. This education bill would defund public education and fund charter schools.
But almost 19,000 teachers walked off the job in protest of Senate Bill 451. Carly Van Iver joins us now from Social Square to tell us more about how this bill was shut down. Carly?
After weeks of the education bill bouncing between the Senate and the House, 54 of the 55 West Virginia counties canceled school on February 19th for a statewide walkout that successfully killed the bill. I hit the picket lines to learn more. West Virginia teachers across the state hit the picket lines to protest Senate Bill 451. This proposed bill would bring charter schools and private school vouchers to the Mountain State. Most teachers believe other changes need to be made in order to improve the public schools that already exist.
For example, there's many math openings in this state where a certified math teacher isn't present because of lack of benefits and lack of salary. And that trend continues as other states make improvements to their system and West Virginia lags behind.
And this isn't the first time these teachers have put up a fight. It's been exactly a year since the 9-day statewide walkout that won West Virginia teachers a 5% pay raise and inspired teachers all over the country to go on strike. And these teachers here today are hoping they can make a difference once again. But this year's strike has nothing to do with the pay raise. And their message was clear in the signs they made. Our students first. Our students are not for sale.
It's a lot to just be able to stand up for something that we believe in, and we believe to the core that this is what we should be doing, not just for us. It's not about money for us. It's not about anything that they're saying it's about. It's about the kids, and we just want them to get the best education and for us to be able to get back in our classrooms and teach, and that's why we do this.
Just a few hours after the strike began, the House of Delegates announced the bill was postponed indefinitely. The teachers continued to strike for a second day to make sure the bill was officially killed. Teachers and students returned to their classrooms on February 21st.
Thanks, Carly. WVU and the Morgantown Pedestrian Safety Board are taking a closer look at ways to prevent accidents. WVU police have confirmed there was another incident on Beechhurst Avenue where a walker was hit by a car and taken to Ruby Memorial Hospital for evaluation. This time last year, a student was killed, and 19 days later, another student was critically injured while crossing the street. I spoke with members of the committee to find out their plans to make Morgantown a safer place to navigate.
It was at this very intersection 1 year ago that WVU student Leah Berhanu was killed while crossing the street. And now WVU and the city of Morgantown have joined forces to create the Pedestrian Safety Committee.
But I think what really heightened it was when we had the tragedy last year and another accident that really brought people together to say, hey, you know, we know this has been an issue or things that could be improved, and we need to really work towards improvements.
Hundreds of students use this crosswalk behind me daily to get to and from this parking lot to the Evansdale campus. But problems arise with the thousands of drivers that use this main road every day, leading to unsafe crossing conditions.
And unfortunately for Morgantown resident Hannah Booth, she was a victim at this very crosswalk, resulting in a concussion and other injuries.
So I was crossing the intersection on my way to work one morning, just as I would every morning. And it's my understanding that as I was in the crosswalk and had a signal to walk, and a car came out of the turn lane and was turning onto Patterson Drive and struck me there in the intersection.
Booth had to be taken to the hospital by ambulance. She also suffered from a brain bleed and scrapes and bruises.
I think it's probably safe to say I'm probably more hesitant and just a lot more aware of my surroundings.
And that's why the Pedestrian Safety Board has come up with a 90-day plan. In this plan, they are addressing the following: flashing signs at intersections and improving crosswalk visibility.
The Pedestrian Safety Board is also looking at a larger plan to address pedestrian safety. This includes a 2-year plan that will implement the following: adding safety islands to roads that are 4 to 5 lanes and considering lower speed limits.
I know a lot of people will be glad to hear about those changes. Coming up after the break, John Lowe tells us about the new Mountaineer.
I'm John Lowe, and coming up next on WVU News, I will introduce you guys to the next Mountaineer.
Quiet and ready in control room. 3, 2, 1. Fade in bumper.
WVU News is local, in-depth, and always on the move for you. it's always on YouTube, on the web, and on the Reed College of Media website. A national first-place Emmy Award-winning college newscast taped at the Waterfront Studio at West Virginia University. Stay in the know, stay connected, watch WVU News.
We conquer mountains. But that's not why they call us Mountaineers. It's because we don't let anything stand in our way. We build what's never been built, seek cures for the incurable, and go first into undiscovered frontiers. We are Mountaineers, and impossible is just another mountain to climb.
With spring semester in full swing, that means the competition to be the next Mountaineer has been heating up.
That's right, Christine. It's an exciting time for Mountaineers to see who the next person will be, donning the coonskin cap and firing the musket. Chris Marzullo has more. Chris?
Thanks, Christine. Claudia. The race to become the next Mountaineer mascot came to a climactic ending during the men's basketball game against TCU in the Coliseum. It was the changing of the guard Tuesday night as the new Mountaineer was named for the 2019-2020 term. The musket was passed down to a new Mountaineer, something he will never forget. John Lowe has more on the story.
On a magical night in the Coliseum, the moment Timothy Eads had been waiting for all his life finally came. The sophomore PR major from Buffalo, West Virginia, was selected as the 66th Mountaineer mascot.
Well, growing up, this is something I've wanted all my life, so I really paid attention to the Mountaineers when I was coming to sporting events and different campus events throughout my childhood. And even now as a student, I've continued to do that. I've had the chance to meet quite a few of the past Mountaineers and had a chance to talk with them and really learn from them. So just to be in the same category as them now, it's a life-changing feeling.
Timothy joins a long line of Mountaineers, most recently Trevor Keith.
Mountaineer's been absolutely amazing. It's been the greatest honor of my life. I'll never forget running out to half court, leading the crowd, and Let's Go Mountaineers cheer. It was amazing. And so it's interesting on the other side of the equation this year.
Since the tradition of the Mountaineer mascot began in 1934, it's been a symbol for the hardworking people of West Virginia, while getting fans fired up on game day. And one coach wouldn't have it any other way.
How are you, brother?
What do you say, Coach? How are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Good.
Get them fired up.
Yes, sir, we'll do. John Lowe, WVU News, Morgantown.
A new rule was put in place where one student can only be the Mountaineer mascot for a single term. So going forward, there will be a new Mountaineer every year. In other sports news, the rifle team will be hosting the NCAA Championship this Friday and Saturday at the WVU Coliseum. Come out and support the team.
That sounds like it really was a dream come true for Timothy. Well, that's it for this week's edition of WVU News. On our next show, we'll cover Dancing with Our Mountaineer Stars, where two of our former reporters, Anderson Small and Sierra Davis, won the Mirror Ball Trophy. Until then, you can visit us online on our website.
You can also watch our shows on YouTube, and please follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Christine Robinson.
And I'm Claudia Sessa. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.